The ultimatum, the silence of space, was never truly silent. Behind the still darkness were whispers of signals, coded messages, and threats carried across light years. On the edge of the solar system, alien warships appeared like shadows breaking through a storm. Their hulls glowed with sharp crimson lights, weapons primed, engines burning with power. For years they had tested Earth, watching from afar, demanding tribute, demanding surrender. But this time they came closer. Too close. The people of Earth saw them in the skies, first as strange dots of light, then as fleets that stretched across the black horizon. Cities below trembled. Some thought it was the end. Others believed humanity had already lost. The alien commander's voice filled every channel, every broadcast, every screen. It was deep and cold, spoken in a language that was not human, yet perfectly translated by machines. People of Earth, you have ignored our warnings. You have rejected our gifts. You have dared to resist our commands. This is your final choice. Kneel before us. Surrender your weapons. Surrender your world, or be erased. The message spread like wildfire. Children cried in their homes. Soldiers tightened their grips on rifles, knowing rifles would not be enough. Presidents and generals held emergency meetings, but none of them spoke about surrender. They sat in silence, their eyes hard, their hearts steady, for they all knew something the aliens did not. For decades, Earth had lived under the eyes of the stars. Every launch, every satellite, every signal was carefully studied by alien eyes. But not everything was shown. Humanity had learned to hide, to build not in the open sky, but in the shadows of oceans, in the hollows of asteroids, and in secret stations far beyond the moon. Now, the ultimatum had been spoken. The countdown had begun. The aliens gave Earth 3 days to answer. 3 days before fire would rain from the heavens. 3 days before cities would burn. Their fleets moved into formation, blocking out constellations, casting long shadows across the Earth. On the ground, fear grew. Crowds filled the streets, staring at the sky. Some prayed, some screamed, some cursed the governments that had angered the invaders. But the leaders of Earth gave no reply. They allowed the aliens to believe in silence. The alien commander grew bolder. His second message came with laughter that made the air feel colder. Your silence is weakness. Your delay is fear. You think we wait for your answer? No. We wait only for your screams. But deep inside a mountain bunker, screens glowed with hidden codes, maps lit up with silent markers. In submarine bases under the ocean, steel doors opened for the first time in decades. Engines that had never been seen by alien eyes began to hum. Men and women in uniforms long kept secret took their stations. Humanity's secret was waking. The aliens believed Earth's fleets were made of old ships, fragile weapons, and small defenses. They believed humanity had nothing but the technology of a young race. But they were wrong. The narrator's voice would linger in suspense here, drawing the audience into the quiet tension. For in that moment, the entire planet was holding its breath. Would Earth kneel, or would Earth finally show what it had kept hidden in silence for so long? In space, alien scouts scanned again and again, searching for movements, for hidden weapons. They found none. They reported nothing but fear and silence. Confidence filled their ranks. They sharpened their weapons. They began to prepare their first strikes, but they did not see what was coming. On the third day, as the alien commander prepared his fleet to fire, a single voice broke the silence. A transmission left Earth and entered every alien ship at once. It was calm, human, steady. This is Earth. We do not kneel. We do not surrender. You wanted our answer. Here it is, the message ended. The silence that followed was not fear. It was the silence before a storm. And then, in the shadows of the moon, lights began to move. At first, the aliens thought they were nothing more than debris, old satellites, scraps of human technology. But then the lights grew, engines roared, shapes emerged. Vast, dark ships, larger than anything the aliens had imagined, began to uncloak. The hidden fleet of Earth had awakened. The aliens, who had come believing they would crush a weak planet, now saw the first glimpse of something else. Not weakness, not silence, but wrath. And the true story was only beginning. The first response, the alien fleet hung above Earth like a crown of fire. Their warships blotted out stars, their engines painting streaks of red across the night sky. To the people below, it felt like the world had already ended. Yet in the command decks of the alien armada there was only arrogance. They had faced young civilizations before. None had survived. Why would Earth be any different? But this time the silence was not weakness. When the first human transmission ended, the aliens expected panic, perhaps even cries for mercy. Instead, nothing came. No retreat, no surrender. Just a chilling pause, as though Earth was daring them to strike first. Alien scouts moved in closer, circling the moon, scanning Earth's orbit. Their instruments showed no threat. Their commanders laughed. They believed humanity had only bluffed. Then it happened. The darkness around the moon cracked open with light. At first, a dozen ships revealed themselves, sleek, sharp, and larger than anything alien sensors had recorded before. Then 100 more. Engines lit up like stars, their glow painting the void with blue fire. The alien laughter ended. The humans had been hiding an entire fleet. The alien commander froze on his throne of steel, his red eyes narrowing at the impossible sight. For centuries, his kind had studied Earth. They saw rockets, satellites, stations, yes, but nothing of this scale. How had humans built all of this without being seen? How had they kept it secret? The answer burned into him with fear. They had been preparing all along. The human fleet moved into formation, silent, disciplined, precise. It was not the movement of a desperate people. It was the movement of a war machine that had been waiting for this very day. For a moment, the void was still. The aliens held their fire. The humans made no move to attack. Two armies stared across the emptiness, measuring each other in silence. On Earth, the people watching the skies could see new stars appearing where none had existed before. Some cried out in confusion. Others understood immediately. The hidden fleet was real. Humanity had not been defenseless. It had been patient. The alien commander growled, forcing his voice across the comms again. Is this your answer, humans? Rusted metal and fragile toys? Do you believe this changes anything? We are eternal. We are countless. You are only flesh. The humans gave no reply. Not yet. Instead, a signal pulsed from Earth. It was not a word, but a command. In perfect synchronization, the hidden fleet powered up its weapons. Beams of blue light stretched across the darkness. Shields flared alive and hundreds of cannons armed themselves. It was a sight no alien had expected. This was no bluff. The aliens, for the first time, hesitated. Then, without warning, the first shot was fired. It did not come from Earth. It came from an alien cruiser, eager to prove human weakness. A single bolt of crimson plasma tore through the void, racing toward one of the human warships. The beam struck, but it did not destroy. The human ship's shield flared, bending the blast into nothing. The crowd on Earth gasped. The aliens hissed in disbelief. And then, the humans answered. A single warship broke formation. Gliding forward with quiet power, it aimed its cannon at the alien cruiser and unleashed a weapon that no alien had ever seen before. A white beam of concentrated energy cut through the darkness, striking the cruiser with the force of a star. The alien ship split in two, torn apart in silence, its pieces scattering into fire. For the first time in generations, the aliens saw one of their own destroyed not by time, not by nature, but by the hands of humans. The alien fleet roared in fury. Their weapons lit up the sky. Hundreds of crimson bolts raced toward Earth's defenders. The humans responded with equal fire, their hidden fleet unleashing its storm. The battle had begun. In the chaos, civilians on Earth watched the skies ignite with light, each explosion burning like a false sunrise. Children pointed in awe, not fear. Soldiers cheered as news spread. We are not weak. We are fighting back. Yet even as victory flashed in small bursts, commanders on both sides knew this was only the beginning. The aliens had numbers. Humanity had surprise. The question was no longer whether Earth would kneel. The question was how much of the galaxy would burn when humans finally rose to fight. The hidden fleet awakens. The battle had begun. But what the aliens had seen so far was only the surface. The ships that had risen near the moon were the first wave, the opening act of a secret prepared for decades. Humanity was not only defending Earth, humanity was revealing the truth. Far below the oceans, doors larger than skyscrapers rumbled open. For years they had looked like simple geological scars hidden in the sea. Now water exploded outward as metal giants pushed through. Submarines gave way to starships, vast carriers built in silence beneath the waves. Their armored hulls gleamed with water dripping down like silver rain as they ascended through the surface, engines blazing for the first time. From within mountains, hidden hangars opened. Entire valleys shook as ships long buried rose into the skies. They pierced the clouds with trails of fire, their engines tearing open the night. And still, this was not the end. In the asteroid belt, long-forgotten mining colonies revealed their purpose. Chunks of rock split apart as camouflage shattered, revealing docks filled with ships the size of cities. Slowly, they pushed free, turning toward the solar system's center, answering Earth's call. The aliens who had arrived expecting a weak planet now stared at a fleet larger than anything they had ever encountered in this sector of space. Hundreds became thousands, small frigates to titanic battleships, carriers with bays holding entire wings of fighters, all rose at once. The alien commander's hands tightened on the arms of his throne. His red eyes widened, not in anger this time, but in something far more dangerous. Fear. This is not possible, he hissed to his advisors. They could not have built this unseen. They do not have the resources. They do not have the time, but deep inside he knew the truth. Humanity had been hiding its strength, pretending to be weaker than it was, preparing in silence while the galaxy mocked them. Every insult, every threat, every demand from alien empires had been fuel for human resolve. And now, the result of that patience was rising before his eyes. On Earth, the people who had once trembled at the alien fleet now stared in awe. News broadcasts showed oceans boiling as carriers emerged, mountain doors splitting as dreadnoughts flew skyward, and the black void of space filling with a human armada more powerful than anyone had dreamed. Fear turned into pride. Silence turned into cheers. For the first time in centuries of alien threats, humanity did not look small. It looked vast. The alien fleet shifted nervously. Their formations tightened. Their voices broke across comms in sharp arguments. Some demanded immediate retreat. Others demanded all-out fire. None of them could agree because none of them had ever seen such a thing. The humans, however, moved without hesitation. Their fleet spread like wings, ships aligning into perfect lines. The commanders gave no speeches. There was no need. Every soldier aboard those ships knew why they were there. A single order cut through the noise. Form the shield wall, and then, something even stranger happened. The front line of human ships activated a technology the aliens had never witnessed. Beams of blue light linked ship to ship, connecting them into one great barrier. A glowing wall of energy stretched across the void, blocking the alien fleet's advance. Plasma fire slammed into it, but the wall held. The humans were not just attacking. They were protecting their world with something new, something the galaxy had never seen. The alien commander's hands trembled as he leaned forward. How did they do this? But even as he spoke, more ships emerged, the largest yet. From the far side of the moon, a shadow rose that dwarfed all others. A ship so massive that it looked like a continent drifting through space. Its hull was covered in silver plating, marked with symbols of Earth's nations united at last. Thousands of windows glowed. Hundreds of cannons lined its body, and at its heart, a single weapon pulsed with white light. It was Earth's flagship, a vessel so secret that even most of humanity had never known it existed. The alien fleet fell silent. Their weapons dimmed. For the first time, the invaders did not feel like predators. They felt like prey. The narrator's voice would hold here, cold and steady, pulling the audience deeper into the moment. Humanity had shown its hand. The hidden fleet was no longer hidden, and the galaxy would never forget what had awakened. Clash of Titans. The void between Earth and the alien fleet was no longer empty. It was a battlefield waiting to ignite. On one side, the alien armada stretched across the stars, red lights glowing like blood. On the other, humanity's hidden fleet filled the darkness. Engines burning blue, weapons armed, formation unshaken. The silence broke with fire. Alien warships opened first, unleashing storms of plasma bolts that painted the night red. The blasts cut through space like rivers of flame, crashing into the human shield wall. The energy barrier trembled, cracked, but did not fall. Every impact was answered with light, each wave absorbed by the wall built from hundreds of linked human ships. Then humanity struck back. From the front lines, beams of white and blue fire tore forward. Missiles with glowing trails streaked across the void, splitting into dozens of smaller warheads. Alien cruisers exploded in silence, their hulls tearing apart as debris drifted into the black. Fighters swarmed from human carriers, darting between giant ships, weaving through fire with deadly precision. The aliens roared in fury. Their formations shifted, unleashing their own squadrons. Thousands of insect-like fighters burst forward, wings cutting the void as they hunted the human pilots. Dogfights erupted in the shadows of titanic warships, each explosion lighting up the battlefield like falling stars. Still, neither side broke. The human flagship advanced slowly, its massive cannons charging. Every time it fired, another alien vessel disappeared, cut apart as though by the hand of a god. But the aliens responded with their dreadnoughts, colossal vessels armed with weapons capable of splitting moons. Their red beams pierced the human lines, vaporizing smaller ships in blinding flashes. The battlefield became chaos. Explosions lit the darkness, burning debris drifting like metal rain. Human frigates broke apart under heavy fire, yet each time one fell, two more surged forward. Alien ships rammed into human lines, trying to shatter formations, but they were met with ruthless counterattacks. No one retreated. No one gave mercy. On Earth, the people watched the skies as if they were watching their own history being written. Every explosion was visible to the naked eye, painting the heavens with fire. Crowds stood together in silence, no longer afraid but proud. They were seeing not the end of their world, but its rise. Inside the alien command ship, panic spread. The commander barked orders, demanding his fleets push harder, demanding the humans be crushed. But his officers spoke in hushed tones. They had fought many civilizations, but never like this. Humans did not fight for conquest. They did not fight for empire. They fought as though every breath, every heartbeat, every inch of space was sacred. And then came the turning point. The alien dreadnoughts charged their superweapons. 3 titanic beams of red light cut across the void, aimed at Earth itself. Cities would have burned in seconds. But before the beam struck atmosphere, Earth's flagship answered. Its core weapon flared like a newborn star. A single blast of white energy erupted, brighter than anything on the battlefield. The 3 red beams bent, shattered, and dissolved in mid-space. Silence followed. For the first time, the alien fleet faltered. The humans did not hesitate. Commanders shouted the order, "Advance." The shield wall surged forward, pushing the aliens back step by step. Fighters tore into enemy lines. Carriers released wave after wave of reinforcements. Missiles detonated across the void in perfect synchronization. The alien fleet, once so confident, now struggled to hold ground. But victory was not without cost. Human ships burned too. Entire squadrons vanished in fire. The void was littered with broken vessels, both human and alien, drifting as silent tombs. Yet humanity did not stop. Every loss only made their lines harder, their fire stronger. The alien commander slammed his clawed hand against the command throne. His pride screamed for him to fight to the last, but his instincts told him the truth. They had underestimated humanity. This battle was no longer an easy conquest. It was survival, and survival was slipping from his grasp. The narrator's voice would linger coldly here, pulling the audience into the weight of the moment. For in the black void of space, above a planet once thought weak, 2 armadas clashed in fury, but only one fought with the fire of a species that refused to bow. The clash of titans had begun, and only one side would walk away. Humanity's answer, the battlefield, was a graveyard. Broken ships drifted in silence, their fires still glowing faintly against the endless black. Thousands of lives had already been lost, human and alien alike, yet neither side yielded. The aliens, once arrogant and mocking, now fought with desperation. The humans, once silent and underestimated, now fought with fury. But at the center of it all, one ship held the future, the human flagship, the great vessel that had risen from the shadows of the moon, drifted forward like a silver continent. Its weapons pulsed with light, its engines thundered like a beating heart. Around it, human ships formed a living shield, sacrificing themselves to protect it. Every soldier aboard knew what their mission was. They were not fighting to survive. They were fighting to show the galaxy what it meant to be human. The alien commander felt his chest tighten as he stared at the massive ship. His fleet was still larger, still deadly, but doubt gnawed at him. He had seen empires crumble before, but never to a young race. Never to a world that should have been too fragile to resist. "This ends now," he growled, his voice echoing across his command deck. "Crush their flagship. break their spirit. At his command, the alien armada focused all firepower on the human flagship. Dreadnoughts charged their cannons, cruisers released swarms of missiles, fighters screamed forward like a storm of metal. The void lit red, fire so bright it drowned the stars, and yet the flagship endured. Its shields flared, bending the storm away. Its armor shook, fragments peeled away, but the heart of the ship did not falter. On its bridge, human commanders gave no cry of fear. They gave no speech. They simply nodded to one another. They knew what was coming. The weapon at the core of the flagship awakened. The ship's hull glowed as power surged through it. Panels shifted, revealing a great cannon that stretched the length of the vessel. White energy began to gather, brighter and brighter, until the ship itself looked like a newborn star. Every human voice fell silent. Every alien voice broke into panic. The alien commander shouted for his fleet to retreat, but it was already too late. The weapon fired. It was not sound. It was not fire. It was light, pure, blinding, endless light. A beam so powerful it cut through the void, tearing alien ships apart as though they were made of paper. Dreadnoughts shattered. Cruisers melted. Fighters vanished in an instant. Whole sections of the alien fleet were erased, their screams silenced in seconds. The battlefield froze. Even the humans, who had fought with such resolve, stood in stunned silence at what their weapon had unleashed. The beam faded, leaving behind only wreckage. Thousands of alien ships gone in a single breath. On Earth, people fell to their knees. Some cried in relief, others in shock. For centuries, humanity had been underestimated, treated as prey, spoken to as children. But in that moment, under the light of their flagship, they were something else. They were predators. They were giants. The alien commander sat in silence, his claws trembling. His fleet was broken. His arrogance was shattered. He understood now. Humanity had not built its hidden fleet in fear. It had built it for this very day when silence would no longer be enough. "This is not possible," he whispered. But his words carried no strength. His advisors begged him to retreat. Others simply fled. The empire he had brought with such pride was crumbling before his eyes. The humans did not chase the survivors. They did not mock the defeated. Their flagship, still glowing with white fire, simply drifted forward. A single message echoed through the comms, cold and final. "This is Earth. We do not kneel. We do not surrender. You brought war to our world. Now you know our answer." The message ended. Silence returned to space. The surviving alien ships scattered, vanishing into the darkness, carrying stories they would never forget. On Earth, the people roared with pride. They did not cheer for victory alone. They cheered because they had seen the truth, that humanity was no longer weak, no longer hiding. The galaxy would remember this battle, not as the day Earth nearly fell, but as the day Earth rose. The narrator's voice would slow here, cold and steady, giving weight to the ending. The aliens thought they had discovered Earth's weakness. Instead, they uncovered its wrath, and the stars would never look the same again.